Hi everyone, it's Kelly from Wild Talks and Nature Walks, and just as promised in my last video about setting up a trail camera, I am back on my property and I'm going to pull my SD cards from all three of the cameras that I have out currently. The last one that I placed in the video was just shy of 2 weeks ago, so I am very excited to see what I get not only on that one, which is in the new untried location, but on the other two I already had deployed too. So like I said, as promised, I am bringing you along with me to check those cameras, to pull those SD cards, and then, as I mentioned in the comments for my camera deployment video, I plan on doing basically an unboxing video, if you will, of what I find on the SD cards. So when I sit down and I start looking through them, I'm going to have a camera on me and on my laptop screen, so you will see in real time, just like I am when I do it, what I find. Now, there could be some very exciting things on there. There could be some very boring things on there. We may get hours and hours and hours of that same mouse running across that same log again. I don't know. But again, that's the fun of it. So come along with me. Let's check some SD cards and we'll get going. See you in a few. All right, so we're right on the trail that I'm laying in, coming up on my first camera, and I'll try to keep it as steady as I possibly can, but I am doing this by hand. One thing before I go to look at the camera, I want to show you something that I put out. So this right here is a 10-pound salt and mineral block. It's natural minerals and salt, mined somewhere out in Utah, I believe. And I put it here in front of this first camera that I've got on my property, to specifically attract in deer. Now, other animals may come into it as well, but I wanted to draw some deer into this camera. I'm curious to see if the does come to it, if the fawns start to learn as they get weaned to come to it for a mineral source, and of course it'll attract any bucks or males that are in the area as well. So let's pull this camera, and here we are. This is me filming my camera, filming me, filming my camera. And that's about as surreal a life experience as naturalists get. So you'll notice I've got a little lock on my camera. I don't think you really need to. It all depends on what your property situation is, what your neighbors are like. I just did this because I had a couple of locks, they're travel locks actually, laying around, and they just happened to fit the little slot on the side of my camera. So I went ahead and did it on a whim anyway on two of my cameras. And not the third, but the two of them. So I'll see if it makes any difference in the video I get. But hold tight. I'm going to unlock that lock. I'm going to pull that SD card, and we'll set it up again and go on to the next one. So hang on. I'll be right back with you. Now, I've kept this camera in the same location since I first deployed it because I have gotten some pretty good footage on it. A lot of the deer footage that you saw in the does and fawns video that I posted came from this camera, and it's been really good so far through this first half of the year. Now, whether that continues on into the fall, I don't know, but that is one reason that I decided to put the mineral block out here. This is along a natural deer trail, which looks like it gets a fairly good bit of use, and the chances are good that there'll be some activity at least through the winter out here along this trail. So the batteries are holding up really great. I did have to reposition it a little bit, put it a little bit lower to the ground because it was shooting a little bit high on this tree that I've got it on. So I've already got the new camera card in place. So let's turn this back on. Remember, go to standby first. That screen will come on. I'll wave my fingers in front of it. Yep, it's taking video. That's great. My batteries look good. We'll flip it all the way up. Screen goes off, and you can't see it, but that red sensor light is on. So let's go ahead and close that door, and we'll just put that lock back in place. And it's just a little padlock. Slips in, easy peasy. Oh, well, it does if you have two hands. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you're a lone naturalist in the wilderness. Okay, so it is shooting, and now we will go on to my next camera. So hang on, there's more to come. So I literally had to go off trail to get to my second camera. It's very close to my property line, but it's a very active location because it's just up the hill from that seasonal creek I mentioned in my deployment video for my third camera. So it's a good place for activity. Apparently there's a very healthy deer mouse population out here, because this is the camera location where I got all that footage of deer mice. And interestingly, and I'm getting ready to post some from that other camera from a couple of weeks ago, of the deer mouse running repeatedly down this little, I call it a log, but it's actually a stick. It's not very big at all, but it makes a good reference point because I know how far in front of the camera it is, and consequently how big or small the mouse must be. Now I'm going out on a limb, haha, and saying that probably they spend a lot of time during the day in that hollow log right there, which is very close to my camera and very close to that stick that the mouse loves to run down, which is this one right here. I'll show it to you a little closer as we get up closer to the camera. There was also, in one of the videos of the mouse, a snake slithering through the dead leaves on the forest floor too. Now that could be any number of things, but since it was out at night, and I know that there are copperheads in this area, I am really hoping it was a copperhead, because that would be really cool to have a copperhead down here. Yeah, I'd be so excited. That just means I need to watch where I step though, especially if I'm out here at night, because they do tend to be more nocturnal. So let's go over to this camera. There we go. So here's my second one. This one's a little different because it's actually positioned so that the lock is on the uphill side. So I'm going to have to turn off my camera to take care of that. But just to show you why as well, we are on a pretty steep incline here going straight down to the creek. And again, if I tumble, it'll make great video, but it won't do my business very much good if I'm in the hospital or worse. So I'm going to be very, very careful about this. But let me change out my SD card and I'll be right back. Hold tight. Right, so again, this one is on a pretty steep incline, so I went ahead and set it back up with a new card, turned it on, it's going, it's good to go. But for a second here, just want you to listen to the woods. One or two birds, some very early in the evening crickets, and it's about, I don't know, maybe 5:45-ish or so. But you can definitely tell the seasons are starting to change. A couple of the trees have already started to go yellow. It's getting darker a little earlier than it was. And the sounds that the forest makes, at least the eastern hardwood forests in the United States, it's a real difference. If I go back and look at my videos from the spring, then I listen to those and you hear a multitude of bird songs. Not really a lot of insects, it's mostly birds at that time because all the songbirds are right in the thick of their nesting season, so the males are either calling for potential mates or they're defending territory boundaries and things like that. As we go on into the summer, the bird song dies back a little bit into mid to late July, and you start hearing the cicadas come out during the day, and those are the annual cicadas, the yearly ones that do their calling in the tops of the trees, that kind of buzzing, whirring sound, especially into August, and that's why they call them out here the dog days cicadas, because they start calling in the dog days of summer. And now, part of it is it's cooler today, and as we're getting close to sunset, other than the crickets, even the cicadas have pretty much died back because it's a little too cool for them. And the forest is almost eerily silent, but that's exactly the way it's supposed to be this time of year. So I love it, I really do. Same patch of woods, but it literally changes every day. And that's one reason I like being out in the forest so much and spending time out here by myself. It's just amazing. All right, well, that's camera number 2. Let's go to the brand new, never had a camera on it before location. Be there in a minute. All right, coming up on camera number 3, and looking at it from this angle, looking down into the creek. Again, it's just a lovely area to film. I'm really hoping I've got some stuff on here. I'll be surprised if I don't, but you never know. So let's check out camera number 3. Now, I'm going to turn this off because, again, this is on a slope and I don't want to go top over tea kettle trying to get to it. So hang tight, I'll be right back. All right, so here we are, and it sounds like it's just starting to drizzle, so this is excellent timing. I'm going to pull this card from this third camera, and everything looks fine on it. Doesn't look like anything's been tampered with, which is great. Oh, hang on. There we go. Sorry about that, everybody. It's hard to do one-handed. Now, this one doesn't have a lock on it, so I can just reach over and pop it right open. Boop. And I always like to take it back on standby, get that video screen on, and my batteries look okay. Yep. Turn it off. Here's the fun part, trying to get that camera SD card out. You push in, and it pops out, but sometimes it's hard to get a fingernail on it, especially if you just trimmed yours like I did. So I'm going to go back and take a page out of my chimpanzee ancestors book and find a tool. I'll be right back. So when you think you're a really smart Homo sapiens and you forget your pocket knife, you get a little stick and you try to get one end as pointy as possible, and that becomes a little lever you can push with your thumb and bring out that SD card. Ah, the ingenuity of the naturalist. Would have been simpler if I'd had my pocket knife, but you know what? This works. So that will go in my pocket, and the beauty of using a stick for a tool is that if you do, once you're done with it, you can just drop it right back in the forest floor and it's not littering. Okay, so hold tight. I'm going to put that SD card in my pocket, and we'll get the new SD card out. Again, this would be much easier if I had a production assistant, but this is what happens when you go solo. And I love these SD cards that I've started using are from Micro Center. They're the exact same type of card I had before, but each one of them comes in one of these little nifty plastic cases, which means I put my used ones in there, and I can put them in my pocket, and they are safe. They don't get damaged by scratching up against anything else that might happen to be in my pocket. So, the new SD card will go in that little slot. Make sure it's seated right, and we push it all the way in. And then we go back to standby. And the screen's on. And that's the back of my phone, so it's doing great. Battery life looks good, so we'll go ahead and put that to on. And you can see that red sensor light. It is good to go. So, that is locked and ready, which is fantastic. And here's hoping we got something beautiful in this gully. I cannot wait to check these cards with you. And I won't be able to do it tonight, but as soon as I get home tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to set my laptop up, and together we are going to explore these SD cards. All right, so we've got all 3 of our SD cards from our cameras. I am so excited about this. Again, stay tuned. By midweek next week, I will be posting the quote-unquote unboxing video and let you watch along with me as we discover together what video footage I've gotten. And again, like I said, you'll know that this is first time viewing for everybody because I will not have edited out my legs coming up to the camera. So you will find out right when I do. Again, it could be exciting, it could be very boring. If I find something that I need to go back and look at over again, we'll put it in slow-mo, we'll do it frame by frame, and we'll see what comes up. But I'm super excited. I can't wait to see what it is. I can't wait to share that with all of you out there. And again, if you have any questions about nature or about me or my business, feel free to ask. I love interacting with my viewers. Thanks to everybody who's watched my videos so far. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to the channel, get the word out, tell other people about it who might have an interest in it too. I'd love to hear from them. Don't forget to like the videos. If you do, please like them and hit that bell so you can be notified when I put out more content, which I hope to keep getting out very soon. We want to do this on a regular basis, and I'm so excited to have all of you come along on this journey with me, especially now that we're trending out of summer and heading into fall. It should be a good time for the wildlife activity to really pick up on our site. And we heard squirrels today. I am so excited. I didn't think I had really that many squirrels around at all. This is literally the first day since we got this property in May, like I said before, that I have heard squirrels on the property. I am stoked. And you guys came along with me to find it out. Catch you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.